Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
We're now live. God.
Nice. So, what's up, Max Chong? Here we are here at Chinoy Athletics, and then I would like to congratulate my mate here for reaching the 10,000 subscribers in Pinoy Athletics. So, even though I'm not one of the founder, my heart belongs to, of course, the Philippine track and field. So, yeah, there you go. That's why I'm quite keen to share my knowledge about um, my experience and then what I'm learning as well through the years for the when it comes to long distance running. So again, here I'm live and I'm talking to Noi, and I'm live in Hong Kong. And
Yep. And from Australia, Coach Enzo from Australia also I'll be discussing some things about sprints. Been talking to a lot of athletes. Super proud that a lot of some of the sprinters, not all, but some of them are managing to get training done, and they're coming for advice. They want to know everything pretty much. They're like taking this opportunity with the COVID to basically learn everything from Olympic lifting to plyometrics to drills to rest and recoveries to nutrition. So there's been a lot of very interesting questions put forward by a lot of young promising sprinters, local sprinters from the Philippines, who I've been happy to share knowledge with when it comes to trying to motivate them getting through these difficult COVID times, and trying to help them get that extra 0.2 or 0.3 or whatever it is that they want to aim to get to that sort of next level in terms of helping Philippine sprints.
yeah, 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 yes.
So
So
we had a discussion the other day about the 5,000 meters,
yeah,
how men's I'm not really basically trying to have a go at the men, at the athletes themselves, but what I'm saying is that I just felt that a lot of these guys who are in the 15 and 16 minute range, a lot of them should be really, and a lot of them could be in the 14-minute range. And it was nice. We started a discussion on Pinoy Athletics group, and it was nice to hear back from a lot of the athletes, get their feedback, and ask them what needs to happen for men's long distance to level up, because it's been quite some time, and with men's long distance, there's been like a what we'd call a gap in terms of that performance,
yeah,
and there's been flashes of brilliance now and then, but it's been a good 10 or 15 years since we've really had some top-notch performances in those events. So subject matter expert here, Mr. Stephen, talking Chinoy, we'll just cover some things, discussing nutrition
yeah,
for long distance runners.
yeah.
So I'll
So
be right
yeah,
back.
so we've received a comment from one of our members in the Pinoy Athletics that student athlete doesn't really receive that much support when it comes to nutrition and supplements. So we're going to touch base on that, and then what are the supplements that a long distance runner or runners basically, but uh, as for my expertise, I'm more of a long distance runner, so I would share my knowledge and experience as well. So, like before, when I did the Garmin training plan for the 10K and then level two, um, even though I was training 4 times a week and then I do hard sessions twice a week, those are the interval sessions and then the threshold runs. And even though it was at zone 4 heart rate, around 80 to 90% of your maximum effort, the next day you still feel a bit soreness in your muscles, of course. because of the lactic acid that developed into your muscles. So one way for me to battle that is I added some supplements in my running gear. So uh, before I haven't taken it. The next day I wake up a bit sore, and then I could really tell that I really worked that much to really achieve that zone 4 heart rate, and then really achieve the pace, the goal pace for the training plan as scheduled. And when I introduce one, is of course the first thing that I introduce is the glucosamine, because the second set of Garmin training plan that I did, my left arch in my left foot quite collapsed because I was using a Zoom Fly 3 during my long runs, and then every time I used one, it's quite unstable. So I don't know what happened, but it contributed to the collapse of the left foot arch. So every time I felt my posterior tendon uh, was aching, and then I went to a physiotherapist, and then he diagnosed me with a PTTD. So I went to the physiotherapist maybe around twice a week, or 4 times a month, to really make sure that the PTT would go away, and then usually the needle will be used, and then some um, the ultraviolet light. So to cut the long story short, um, I after I've done that set, I was able to take a rest, and then the PTT was gone. So the third set that I did the training plan, yes, I introduced the glucosamine, where it really worked wonder. Even though I didn't go to the physiotherapist anymore, I I just basically take 2 tablets per day, and then I didn't really feel my PTD coming back anymore. So the glucosamine, its benefit is for your joints and then knees, and also it lowers the risk of your heart disease, and of course preventing also stroke by, there's a study which gives around 15% risk for stroke. So the maximum dosage for the glucosamine will vary, but I've read an article that's supposed to have a maximum dosage of 2,000 milligrams, where I take, wait, let me see. Yeah, I take this one, glucosamine sulfate, and then it has 750 milligrams, and once in the morning, and then once in the evening. So it's like needs to be taken with meals. So yeah, uh, 2,000 milligrams. If you exceed the dosage, of course, too much of something would really give you a side effect. So I just stick with the 1.5 milligrams. And the next thing that I've added to my supplement is, of course, the vitamin B complex, wherein it helps for the athletics performance and also the muscle recovery. So um, for the B12 complex, vitamin B complex, I'm using this, and it's called micronutrients, as it's just giving you micrograms of B complex, wherein um, it's really hard to tell if you what the thiamine, niacin, the covalent. The everything really helps. Even the B12, and then the B9, the folate, really gives you a edge if you have a lot of supplements that really can support the production of the red blood cells, and also the muscle recovery, right? So The third thing that I've added my supplement is, of course, this currently uh, this one, CoQ10, and then has 100 milligrams. So CoQ10 really helps for the heart as well. So if you're a long distance runner, you have to make sure that your heart really functions in its maximum, so that you can really reap the benefit of pumping the oxygen to your blood vessels. And yeah, it gives also a mask for your cardiovascular benefits. So I take these, and it says here that it stops the muscle aging as well. So, but I'm not, I'm not after that. I'm just really after for the um, improving my heart and also the cardio. And but usually for my daily supplements, before I would really recommend. I'm not really disclaimer first. I'm not really paid to advertise this. I'm just using this to just really support my training, and then yeah, these NSL essentials. I know mostly of my brothers and sisters in Alpha Phi Omega are using that as well. They are outdoor runners, and then shout out to them. And also the third set of the training plan, I've included the bone broth protein, which I'm sharing from time to time because I've read about its wonders, which this one, bone broth protein by Ancient Nutrition. Disclaimer again, I'm not paid to advertise this, but I'm using this. I paid for it fully. And yeah, it contains 20 grams protein, which I usually take right after my training session. If I'm doing a hard session, I take that bone broth protein because it has also a glucosamine and collagen, and then it's really works wonders as well. The next day, no muscle soreness at all. So I, for me, if there's a slight advantage for me to improve, so I'm adding it to my nutrition so that I can really be in my best shape when it comes to the hard session. And currently, I've heard Evan Jager, the remarkable US 3,000 meter steeplechaser, which he shared that he was taking iron supplement and then vitamin C along with it for better absorption of the iron supplement. So he shared in his interview that he was taking those supplements when he was training at altitude around 7,000 feet above sea level, where that's why I decided to also um, add this vitamin C and iron for this next training set that I'm going to do, which, yeah, it varies. For the iron, what benefits can we get from it? If we lack iron, we tend to be anemic. So the iron molecule really helps to produce a hemoglobin in our system, which the hemoglobin is really key for the it acts as a carrier for oxygen. Every time you take oxygen, and then if you have uh, a very good level of hemoglobin, every time you use your muscles when you're running, it really distributes um, evenly to your muscles. So it really prevents the buildup of the lactic acid. So, and also you can really maximize your if you have a very good oxygen intake when you're running, you don't really feel that much tired compared to um, if you're grasping for air, right? So, and also for women, there's a difference for the maximum dosage of it. For athletes, for women, it tends to. I read an article that which gives which women needs to have around 41 milligrams maximum dosage of iron, and for men 36 milligrams. But here I just take 27 milligrams, and then this one is once daily, and then it needs to be taken with food as well. So yeah. Mm. As for the vitamin C, of course, we all know that vitamin C is really not needed if you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. So if you do not, so of course, I would really recommend you taking vitamin C, as it has a antioxidant, and also an anti-inflammatory agent, which can really help for muscle recovery. So here I'm taking 500 milligrams, one capsule each, take for morning, and then in the evening one as well. And I'm quite surprised with this because it says here that you don't really need to take it with food. So uh, it really helps to absorb the iron. So I'll be adding this as well. So it's quite nice if you take vitamin C, because it will also prevent, of course, you having a flu and cold. So right right now we're uh, at risk of having a COVID-19 due to the pandemic. So I would really suggest you taking vitamin C, or really boost your immune system. So in all, that's all the things that I've been taking for the supplement side. And for the nutrition, for the food side, of course, I've added every time per week, maybe around 4 times, I eat peanut butter with toast, and more onto fiber foods like veggies, carbs, of course, for long distance runner. I know that weight is a factor when it comes to long distance running, and usually some of the long distance runners are quite they really check their weight daily, and then conscious about if it increases or not. And for me, I still eat carbs, rice, pasta, and then of course toast. um, I would recommend you not to cut your carbs if you're really doing your training, because um, even long distance really need, it's very essential to have carbohydrates, because it is converted to collagen, wherein the collagen is needed to produce energy. So for those long distance runners who skip your carbs, I guess it would be nice if you continue eating carbohydrates. And of course, we've mentioned for the supplements, the protein. I always eat white meat. That's why I really need to take the vitamin B complex, because even though that there's a study that shows that even though that your hemoglobin level and then your red blood cells levels are normal, but your ferritin level is low. So it's like iron. That's why, for me, I took a blood test last year, and my hemoglobin level is in above average, and also my red blood cells. But for my iron, which having a range of 12 to 31, I was just only at 17 unit, and it's below the average. So that's the problem if you're not really taking a lot of red meats like beef, uh, beef liver, and because I usually take chicken, chicken, fish, and then carbs, and then that's it. I I I'm more focused on protein and build up for the muscles. So that's what I lack. That's why I'm quite happy right now, because I've included some of the stuff that I miss, and then For this week, I'll be scheduling a blood test again because I just finished uh, my training time trial last week. So yeah, before training for another set, I want everything to be normal, and then to make sure that um, I'm in my best shape as well, fully recovered, and before I start another 10K training plan. So, how about you, bro? What supplements are you taking?
Okay, the first I'll go into that, but I just had a few points regarding the topic question. The first question is, like you've listed quite a lot of supplements, and
Yeah,
like of all those supplements, we need to look at which ones are the most crucial for an
yeah,
athlete. You've listed quite a
yeah,
lot, and
yeah.
obviously, like we're talking about budget here, so you
Yes,
know
that's right. Yeah,
you could pick out maybe 3 or 4 of the ones that you suggested, and then
yeah,
the most important. Like, how much would it cost per month for an athlete
yeah.
to get that type of nutrition that they need?
Yes. Because yeah, for me, this supplements that I've enumerated a while ago, I bought this in a discount. So I bought it in a iHerb, and then I don't know, mostly of the student athlete could really afford to buy it online. So the ones that I've been taking before, when I was taking this, I was taking Nutriplex. Wait, let me just give you the nutritional facts of the Nutriplex so that they can. Yes, sorry. Yes, my little boy. Uh, yes, wait for a while. Wait, I'll just get the. I'll share this to the. Here.
Because I honestly believe that athletes need better nutrition. When I went
Yeah,
to the PhD, I think I might have been an
yeah,
athlete at this point, and this was about maybe, well, a long time ago now, like, maybe 15 or more years ago when I was an athlete. I went to the PSC nutritionist, and,
yes,
like, I couldn't believe the advice I got from the person who was
yes,
employed by PSC. It's basically, oh, you're an athlete. You don't really need that much. You don't really need supplements. You just need a good diet. And I was honestly responded to that with, like, the reason why I need more protein and I need more protein and I need more supplementation is because
yeah,
you have additional needs to my body,
yeah,
which
yes, that's
ordinary
right.
people, like ordinary non-athlete people,
Yes,
like,
that's right.
get by with just having a good diet. There's
Yeah,
honestly, when you go to the gym and you do a workout, you need to get protein in your body to sort of help you recover properly. The
yes, that's
creatine
right.
helps
Yeah,
that makes you feel more explosive when you lift.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you don't take this stuff, then you're basically at a disadvantage, and you
Yes,
basically
right.
your body you're basically putting your body at very high risk of getting injured
Yeah,
if you're
high
not
risk. Yes.
taking these supplements, and if you're just on a
Yeah,
good diet. The thing is that a diet's good, but the thing is
yeah,
that in food, which isn't synthesized, you can't get the exact right amounts of what you need from the food. You need a good diet as well. I agree that you need a good
yeah,
diet and you need supplements on
yeah,
top of the good
right.
diet.
Yeah,
Just having a good diet and not having the supplements because of the extreme needs of your event, it's just not. It's just not like, it just puts your body at risk of getting injuries if you're not like, supplementing with what you need to help your body
yeah.
recover and help, you know your
Do
body
agree with
be,
you with that.
yeah,
Yeah,
prepared for
if
the
if that if if
explosive starts and stuff.
if you have yeah, if you have that nutritionist in the PSC, I guess it's
Yeah,
time for
yeah.
them to really just let
It's like when I went in
fire
there with,
fire.
many years later, I went
I
in
don't want, yeah,
with
I
Eric
don't want to be
Craig.
hard. yeah, I don't want to be
I
harsh,
went
but
I went in there many years later with Eric Cray, and I think it might have been a different nutritionist, but she was asking him like very repetitive questions like, "What do you have for breakfast? What do you have for lunch? What do you have for dinner?" And Eric Cray was like, "I have a Gatorade for breakfast, and then I have
wow.
maybe another Gatorade for lunch, and then I have Gatorade before I go to bed, and maybe I have about 4 Gatorades a day. And what do you have for breakfast?" He's like, "I don't know, bacon." It's like maybe a
Yeah,
sandwich, like with some chicken,
no,
some fried chicken. I like
yeah.
pizza. Like basically, that's what the conversation was like.
It's like, yeah, I guess they really need to fire that nutritionist because it's it's quite. I don't want to be harsh, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
they, they need to
So
know the
ano-
basic where
another query. You're talking about carbs,
yeah,
and I guess in the Philippines, I mean, they mainly eat a diet composed of rice.
yes, that's
And
right.
that's because rice is affordable to them. I mean, I grew up in New Zealand, even
Yeah,
though I have Filipino heritage. I grew up
yeah,
in New Zealand, and I'm used to eating potatoes, pasta,
yes, that's
bread,
right. Yeah,
and like cereals and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
But the thing is, when I went and lived in the Philippines for a long
yes,
period of time, and they're serving me rice for breakfast, I
yes.
feel that my body, the rice just goes in my body and just comes out my body. It feels like,
Yeah,
it's like
it's
I don't absorb anything from it. I just crap it out pretty much, and
yeah,
it's sort
yeah,
of like, I was
it,
losing a lot of weight
yeah,
because from eating rice. Some people gain weight from eating rice, but I just felt that
yeah,
my body just didn't my body just rejected it. So I just,
yeah,
especially with that much. But what
yeah,
I'm asking, I guess, is Filipinos tend to eat a lot of rice, but you said that you over there you're eating rice a bit, obviously because of some Filipino heritage, but you're also
yeah,
eating you're eating a variety of carbs.
yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
what I'm
Yeah,
wondering is how is rice actually, and like there's been a lot of talks about this. Is rice actually the best carbs for an athlete to actually have, or is it just they just have it because that's what's available, that's what's cheap? But is rice
yeah.
really is
Actually,
rice a good fuel for the body, or is it not? It's not really if you think about it. Are other carbs probably better for a distance runner than rice?
yeah. Actually, even if you're going to ask elite runners in the U.S. and
Yeah,
yeah, they share that mostly of them are also eating rice and not only rice, of course. Yeah, as you mentioned, mashed potato.
yeah,
So for me, because my background is quite it's quite a long story where I grew up also in a westernized household as my dad is a British guy,
yeah.
so he's from the UK. So mostly of the foods that he eat is what we eat as well. So
So
um,
what, like roast potatoes and
yes, that's right.
roast
So
beef,
like
like
mashed potato, but we do
bangers
have
and mash,
rice.
that stuff,
Yeah,
fish and chips,
um,
bangers and yep, pies.
yeah, yeah. So to touch base with rice, it's the most it's like the lightest carbs that you can get. So uh, aside from potatoes, so it's
We differentiating. There's different types of rice. So we're talking.
yes,
There's brown rice and there's white rice
yes,
and
yes. There's
other
also
rice.
brown rice. There's black
Yeah.
rice as well. So
So these
uh,
elite runners, are they eating white rice or are they eating brown rice or a different type of rice?
yeah,
Like what mainly?
it's in the US they usually take white rice. So
Yeah.
that's based on what I've read, mostly of what they take, and of course the Eastern Africans they usually eat ugali, right? So
Or
that's the
quinoa.
quinoa, yeah. Um,
Quinoa.
so for me, because during at nighttime, um, I I've added a carbohydrates. Wait, let me check it. and then show this to you guys, because usually uh, I train during at night where I cannot really eat that much, that heavy when it comes to carbs, because I need to sleep as well. So
Yeah.
um, here's what I take. So it's lighter in my tummy. It's
Yep.
one scoop of
So that's a
this.
nighttime.
Yeah.
That's
You,
nighttime carbs. So
yeah.
what is the purpose of that? Because I've
So,
seen
yeah.
like casein powder and nighttime protein, which is to aid with getting that extra protein to help muscles
Yes.
recover. But like, what is
Yeah.
the purpose of the nighttime carb? What does it
Yeah.
actually? What's the function?
Because for me, it's quite light to take, but you're still getting around 20 grams. Wait, what's this? 17 grams of carbohydrates per one scoop. So that's
Yep.
quite loaded. So that could already give you, uh, what's the kcal for this? Mm, yeah, 68 calories. So that's not too heavy for the tummy. Unlike if I'm going to eat rice and then it's not easily digested by my tummy. So that's why even though I'm taking a lot of carbs and then protein, I maintain my weight. I hope I do wish that I can really go down around 55 kg, but usually I'm just floating from 59 kg to 60 kg. And then if I do my long runs for around 1 hour and 30 minutes, a maximum for the 10K preparation, it's I lose around 2 kg for that. And yeah, for did I answer you that question for the carbohydrates?
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, so for the before I was buying the other supplements that I mentioned, I just want to share with you this Nutriplex that I'm taking before, which has everything. So can you see the one that I shared? Wait,
Nutriplex.
yes, Nutriplex. So I don't know if you can see that one. Yeah, it has vitamin A, vitamin D, and then here's vitamin B complex here, and then you get iron, which offers around 15
So this
milligrams
is
of
like a
that.
multivitamin. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and then also calcium, which is also
Magnesium.
yeah,
Grams.
yes. So this one only costs around, because I in Hong Kong this one costs around 80 per bottle, 80 Hong Kong dollars. So if you convert that to pesos, it's just around 500 pesos, and then
Yep.
uh, for
What is it?
this
Tablet or
for this
powder?
Um, actually, if it is really suggested if you're taking iron supplement, it would be nice if you're going to take a liquid form because it's
Yep.
easily absorbed rather
Yep.
than the capsule or
Yep.
the tablet. So for
The
the
plastic kind of
250,
gets in the way. The plastic gets in the way of digestion.
yes, that's right.
Yep.
So the 250 ml of this would go around 3 months.
Yep.
So for your 500 pesos, if you divide that by three, it's like around 133. Am I right? Or 160? Yeah.
Yep.
So 165, I guess. So which this one here at the right side, it was just shared with to me by my brother in Apple as well, where their company offers a vitamins, which I was quite surprised because this one here it's also iron, the ferrous gluconate or manganese sulfate. This one is iron here. It has 30 milligrams, and then vitamin B, and then vitamin C, which helps the absorption for the iron. So he told me that this one is quite generic, and then it's uh, just it's quite the price is quite reasonable. So if they are student athletes, maybe they can try to get this. But let me share with you also when I used to train in during the high school, during the summer mostly, because I studied in a Chinese school, and then the coach, our coach offers us ascorbic acid, so that's vitamin C, and then that's it, plain and simple. And then if you have muscle soreness, he usually suggests that we buy a what do you call it? I forgot the name. Wait, I can't remember the. It's also a B complex, polynerve. Yeah, I don't know if you heard about that. So the polynerve has a 500 milligrams and also 1,000 milligrams. And if you really have muscle pains and then muscle soreness, get the 1,000 milligram, and then the next day you really feel refreshed, and then all the muscle pains will, we don't really feel the muscle pain the next day. So it's quite accessible to every pharmaceutical companies in the Philippines, like Mercury Drugstore, the Botica, or the TGP. So that and yeah, I guess those are the basics that a student athlete should take if they are training. So it's quite cheap, not compared to the ones that I've enumerated a while ago. So um, hope that it can help the student athletes decide if what supplements to take. How about in the PSC before, when you used to be in the Philippine team? What sorts of
Um, yeah,
vitamins?
well, what I take now, obviously I don't take as much supplements as I used to take, but now, as of now, I take creatine still.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I'm not fussy with the brand because I mean, creatine's
Yeah.
creatine as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And same with protein. I take whey protein. I
Yeah.
make sure that what's important for me with whey protein is to make sure that it has a good, decent amount of protein and a low amount of fat in it, because
Yeah.
I don't want to weight gain or then just get fat.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
And because the idea is to get like stronger without gaining too much weight, just building lean
Yes.
muscle,
Yeah.
so the muscles are functional. And then also, um, like with the whey protein, the other important factor is the amount of glutamine it has in it, because I feel that
Yeah.
for branched chain amino acids, glutamine is the most important one that aids towards recovery. So having, a
Yeah.
decent amount of glutamine in there, like, um,
Yes.
is also important, because if it doesn't have a decent amount of glutamine, then I've got to buy extra glutamine and top up with extra glutamine to make sure I'm
Yeah.
getting that in for recovery.
Yeah.
I take protein after a weights workout and protein before I go to bed.
Sorry. So that's L-glutamine, right?
Yeah, L-glutamine. So
Yeah.
like, I'm taking like protein before I go to bed and after I finish a weights workout. Yeah, so like after a weights workout and before going to bed, I take whey protein.
Yeah.
And before a weights workout, I take creatine, and I mix the creatine with apple juice, because
Yeah.
like the best thing to mix it with is probably grape juice, but I don't like grape juice. So the second best thing is apple juice,
Yeah.
because you don't really want to mix creatine with orange juice or something which is really acidic. You want
Yeah.
a sort of like lower acidic thing. So like, orange juice is very acidic, so like it's better to it recommends you mix it with a lower alkaline like grape juice or apple juice.
Yeah.
So I mix it with apple juice before I do a workout. I also take a banana before my workout, so I'm not like getting really hungry during my workout. And then
Yeah.
I also take a banana after the workout, because that sort of, along with the protein,
Yeah.
helps reduce the risk of any muscle cramps or spasms or anything like that.
Yeah.
When I was with the training call with the Philippine team before. On top of whey protein and creatine, I also took amino tablets. Like
Yeah.
they used to, I believe they used to call them amino 2121s. I took that. I was taking Tribulus, which is which was a still is a legit testosterone booster. So I was taking Tribulus to help build muscle. I was taking amino 2121s, and obviously I was taking a multivitamin as well. I think I recall on another type of multi as well. I think it was, if I recall, I was taking glucosamine as well for joints, and then I was taking, I think, flaxseed or like some kind of flaxseed or wavy oil or something is like, or fish oil or something like that. So like, yeah, I was on those supplements. Actually, what I'm thinking at the moment, and also I was taking Eno Explode. At one point, I was taking Eno Explode as well, but that was later on. I'm thinking of going on C4 because C4 is like similar to No Explode.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, like I'm thinking of going on to C4 at some point, which
From
is
from the name itself, it's like explosive.
yeah. Well, some athletes in the Philippine team are already taking C4. So I was thinking, like, and they were telling me they got pretty good, boosts in strength and performance on it. I'm thinking it's like similar to Eno Explode. The main thing with Eno Explode is like not just creatine and caffeine; it also has nitric oxide in it, which helps like bring oxygen into the muscles, which is really good as well.
Yeah. So do you also drink coffee when during the when you're training? Do you also take coffee or some tea?
Well, now I drink 2 coffees a day. I have one in the morning and I have one in the early afternoon. I can't
Okay.
drink coffee after 4, otherwise I can't get to sleep. The thing is with
Uh, yeah. How about when you were competing in the sprint before? So were you also taking coffee
I
before the?
drank coffee before, but like maybe 1 or 2 cups in a day, and that was it.
Yeah, because I I've read about this article, and also I've seen some long distance runners who really includes coffee or caffeine 2 to 3 hours before their run, even in the marathon, from 3K until the full marathon. And then I tried it last week, um, before my time trial, and then yeah, it really gave me a lot of boost for the first 3 kilometers. um, I plan to go for around 242, 343 pace per kilometer, but yeah, when I started the first 3 kilometers, I went to around 317 per kilometer, and then until 340. So around those rates, I average around 3 minutes and 30 seconds per kilometer. So I would really um, control my pace next time when I start my time trial or even a race, even though I take that caffeine 2 to 3 hours before. Because
Yeah, I
the
think the
yeah,
thing is with Eno Explode, what I found when I was taking it is that Eno Explode has an extremely high amount of caffeine in it. It's like
yeah,
it's like taking it's like taking a couple of Red Bulls. That's basically
yeah,
how potent Explode is. I mean, like a scoop of Explode has had about a tablespoon worth of coffee caffeine in it, like a
yeah,
tablespoon worth of caffeine in it. So now, when I was taking, if you take Explode for too long, the problem is you end up getting difficult sleeping. You get itchy
yeah,
eyes.
yeah,
Um, and it's like a little bit addictive as well because
okay,
you take NO Explode, and then you go and do a weights workout, and then you can pretty much come back the next day and do another weights workout if you take NO Explode again. So it's kind of like it's sort of like you get more, like, not so much recovery, but it's basically like, how do I say it? It's like a pick me up. So, like, like, it's like you're tired, but
You get hooked to it.
yeah, so you can do another workout the next day. It sort of like gives you a temporary boost, but then when you stop taking it, you have a massive crash because because you're taking
That's
so
why,
much in your
that's
body.
why I don't take also Red Bull.
Yeah,
That's usually the counter.
it's like Red Bull. It's got a lot of it's got a lot in it.
Yeah,
Anyhow, there's another person in the room now. He's also a sprint coach from Zumbawanga.
yeah,
He'll
yeah,
be joining the chat, but like maybe he might have some input as well into supplements.
yeah. Okay.
Uh,
So
he
let's welcome Coach Fran.
Coach Sam of France, yeah. He just finished he just did the PATAFA the PATAFA batch 1 for the Aces, so he did pretty well in it. I'll just bring him into I'll add him to the thread. So, Coach Zem, thanks for joining
Hi,
us.
Yes,
welcome.
good evening, Coach Enzo, and good evening, Coach
Uh,
um,
Captain Chinoy.
Chinoy.
Yeah.
Welcome to our class. Okay, I'm sorry I'm late. I just finished
So,
my online class.
what we were discussing was regarding supplements. I mean, I was just like reflecting because I mean, you and me used to run against each other in sprints. So like, I was just asked when I was with the training for the national team which supplements I took, and I basically advised talking to Chinoy that like pretty much the supplements were on the clean list, and there was like creatine, tribulus,
Yeah.
whey protein, explode later, nitric, multivitamin, and that sort of stuff. I'm just wondering if you had any experience with vitamins, supplements as yourself as an athlete, and if not, with athletes that you've coached, if there's any supplements that you would recommend.
Oh, me, Coach.
Yeah.
For me, just now I'm handling secondary high school athletes. Okay, so I would suggest the basics. Okay, for food supplements. Okay, for vitamins. Um, we are taking this potency vitamin C, very basic,
Yeah.
because I don't want to.
Ascorbic
I
acid.
I don't want to make things complicated because first and foremost, we need to refer to the expert or doctors first before giving
Yeah.
such um, recommended vitamins for them. Okay, I know some athletes during our days, some of
Yeah.
my colleagues, they are taking too much vitamins. Okay, but if it is been recommended by the experts, it's okay. But do not mega dose, okay? All
Yeah,
right.
like for athletes as well, when it comes to things as well like Gatorade, what I recommend is it's very sugary, quite acidic. So what I recommend they do is they water it down in half. So basically half Gatorade, half water, and then they drink then they've got 2 drinks of Gatorade out of 1 bottle of Gatorade, and that way they're getting more hydration in, rather than like having a high amount of sugar. So like I usually apply that in the province. Like the Gatorade was accessible. That was something that was accessible. I was giving them
Yeah.
little bits of protein here and there if they needed it. Um, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, well, mainly
So,
the harder workouts.
coaches, thanks for me. I just want to cut you short there, and thanks for having me again here in Pinoy athletics, and yeah, it's quite an honor to share some of the experiences and knowledge that I know. And yeah, you can go ahead, coaches, and then I just need to take care of chores first. So yeah, see you again
Yes.
next time. Again, once again, thanks. Congrats to for having a 10,000 subscribers or followers in Pinoy Athletic.
Okay, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, he had to go because he mainly to attend to. Yeah, and Al's not able to join us because he's got some work. Like he's doing a bit of online teaching at the moment, so he wasn't able to join. So he's been busy preparing lesson plans for his online teaching job. Yeah, what I was just we were just touching base on SUPs, but anyway, yeah, with coaching, at the moment, I've been dealing with a lot of athletes at the moment, mainly like some college age, a lot of college age, high school college age athletes at this point. So the challenge in itself, what we were discussing was the situation right now of COVID. That a lot of athletes, say for example, athletes are in Manila, and what the schools are doing is basically the schools are not giving them any allowances, and they're not giving them. Obviously, they don't get the food and the accommodation. They've basically all the athletes have gone back to their provinces, and they're getting on. The only thing the school's really offering now is online classes, and that's all very well. But the thing is that a lot of places, and you know how crappy the internet is in the Philippines, in a lot of places, a lot of places, the kids can't even access the internet. So what I was
Okay.
saying that some kids are difficult to coach unless the coach is there with them. It's not all the time that you can coach somebody online because sometimes the kids actually need the coach there because some kids just don't have the discipline to be coached when the coach isn't actually there with them, like telling them what to do and ordering them around. They don't have the discipline. Not all kids have that discipline. So it's basically given kids a lot more of an excuse. Say, for example, if a kid doesn't want to train, um, and you're the coach of a university in Manila, and you basically tell the kid, "Oh, you're going to have to turn up to our online session at this time or that time." The kid can just have a lot of excuses now because they might just say, "Oh, walang connection, walang signal. We can't, we cannot, we can't, we couldn't even, we wanted to join the training, but we can't because I'm sorry, we had no intent." They can even just make that up if they want, if they want to skip the training. So, and then that's like pretty much like difficult to check if that's actually true or not. So what I'm saying is that it's easy now to get out of trainings because you're not physically at the training anymore, which is now a problem. Um, so I was discussing some athletes still do want to train, but then like the next barrier is depending on which province you're in, there's certain restrictions in place. In Mindanao, it's like the restrictions aren't so bad in certain parts, especially in CDO. Like there doesn't seem to be really any restrictions at all in CDO because a lot of athletes are just training there like normally. But in parts, I'm not sure. What about in Sabugay? What are the restrictions like there when it comes to the COVID?
Okay, so here, coach, actually selected high school athletes, student athletes. We are trying really hard to manage our time. Okay, so because it's really hard, so we are for now as a coach here in Zamboanga, Sibugay. My first um, project is to develop young athletes. How? How? How could we practice? That's a very big question, right? because we are having this pandemic. So all I can advise to my athletes is that do not go in crowded places. Do not go. Here in the province, we have so many lands. Okay, so many places to use. Okay, and of course, by doing that, I'm giving instructions. Okay, constant information. Okay, um, instructions on how or what. Okay, so what you will do today, tomorrow, next day, or within this week. And even um, I gave them already 1 month training program. Okay, every
Yep.
month I see to it that my program is changing. Okay, if I want to build this kind of um, we want to increase our speed, we want to increase our strength. Okay, strength training. We don't need to go to the gym.
Okay.
Okay, we will just improvise. Okay, specific muscles to um
So,
specific muscles.
okay. So let me ask you, like you say you're improvising, because obviously not everyone in the Philippines, not every kid has access to a gym or can afford to go to a gym, even if they do have access, one in the area. Um, by improvising, what are they doing instead of, like, obviously lifting weights?
Okay, so first, if we are going to focus on upper extremities
Yep.
or lower extremities, or for example, we will do some lower extremities workout. Just we will do some. We will just we will use this medicine ball. Okay, we will just
Yep.
hop around. Okay, do like that and do some light plyometric drills. Okay, of course, before doing that kind of plyometric drills, okay, I will see to it that the athlete is really on shape. Okay, I will not do, if this athlete is a beginner, I will not give too heavy workout. I need to plan. I need to analyze. Okay, maybe he or she will get in an injury. Okay, along the way. So
Yep.
I need to think. Okay, making a workout is really very difficult. Okay, you need to be there. Okay, what will happen next?
Yep.
Can he or she um, get this or not? Okay, it's really difficult. And also talk to your athletes every time. Okay, after workout, hey, what did you do? Okay, coach, I did this. Well, so from scale 1 up to 10, 1 to 10, how is it? How was it? Oh, coach, it's okay. I think it's 5. Okay, how's your legs? Oh, does it hurt? Okay, how's your physical or your body? 1 up to 10, it's 7. Oh, so there's something wrong. Now, I will ask him or her to, I will ask him or her to give me the videos, and I will check if he or she is doing it right. And if it is not, I will correct it immediately so that we can eradicate, as much as possible, we can eradicate injury. Okay, if you will not do it properly, for example, the plyometric drills,
Yep.
okay, so you will easily get injured. So you need
It's
to do
like,
it properly,
they need to be done
systematic.
properly. They
Yes,
they
coach,
need to be done
done it properly.
properly, and they also need to be done on the right surface at the right, with the right flatness, and
Yes,
without any sort of like hazards. Like hazards are, like, for example, when you're getting them to do plyometrics, if there's like sharp objects like bits of broken glass or banana
yes,
peels or rubbish around, you need to clear that area before,
yes.
you need to,
Sa-
like, safety
Safety
should be
first.
number one. Yeah, safety should be number one. So you clear the area and then you put everything there. The other thing I want to suggest is, I'm not sure, but Obviously, in COVID, it might be a bit difficult, but let's say COVID or no COVID, how much access do you have to a swimming pool at the moment?
Come again, coach? It's
Like,
choppy.
do you have access to a swimming pool?
Come again?
Do you have access to a swimming pool?
Oh, swimming pool. Oh, for now, I don't really. Actually, we have access. Okay, in our here in our swimming pool in the municipality, but I don't recommend because we cannot assure the safety of our young athletes. Okay, much better for if we can do this exercise or training program in this location, we will do it. But we will not expose
With
ourselves to
with the swimming pool,
other environment.
what are the like obstacles in terms of safety? Do you mean like some athletes don't know how to swim? Are you saying that like the water's not like been properly cleaned? Are you saying that it's not a safe place because there's some dodgy sort of people around that particular place? What makes it not safe? What makes the
Not
swimming
safe.
pool safe?
Okay, only one answer for that. Too many people. Okay, so
Too many
they're
people?
enjoying. Yes, as if there's no
Okay.
any.
So
As if there's no pandemic.
in
Enjoying.
other words, there's a high risk of them getting infected
High
because there's
risk.
yeah, okay. So like okay, let's say okay, so that's not possible. But what I'm saying is let's say that if there's no pandemic with swimming, I think it's good because it allows variation, and you can also you can also do exercises and drills in the pool,
Yes.
which gives them like the same sort of effect as weights training, but without the same amount of impact as weights training because you can do. I don't know if they have flotation belts, but there's like a flotation belt where they don't touch the bottom of the water, and it's like absolutely no impact, but it basically trains the legs to have a lot of resistance, so it strengthens the legs, but it doesn't create any damage, really any serious damage towards the legs because you're not actually touching the bottom of the pool. Your legs are basically spinning and doing drills in the water with the water acting as resistance, but there's no heavy impact from like hitting the ground like there is in sprints. That's what you
Okay.
call like aqua training. So that's good, like maybe once a week. I was doing it every Saturday with the
Yes.
athletes I had before because it sort of gives them a variety. And then after that, they can just sort of play around in the pool and socialize with the rest of their team. But the training was pretty much, like just the aqua side of things, like the aqua drill strengthening type stuff.
Okay. So aside from much safer is if we will compare, if we will benchmark between swimming pool and um, at the beach, right? So
Yeah.
much better. We will have this active rest at the beach because during training we lose too much salt in our body, water as
You can
well.
use,
So we
you
need
can
to
do,
hydrate.
yeah, you can do aqua type training at the beach, same way you do in the swimming pool, just as long as the water's still. Because if the water's like really moving and wavy and stuff, it's difficult to do the aqua type of workouts. But if the water's still, it's easier to do the aqua workouts. Of course, the beach presents another set of dangers that a coach should be aware of. I mean, in particular, um, the biggest danger, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, is something called a rift. Basically, a rift is a very calm spot, which can actually is a big danger. I mean, I suspect they had that in the Philippines because 3 athletes actually died from a rift. What a rift is, it's a very calm spot of water on a beach, like in between waves. And what it does is it basically drags the athletes out into the like right into the deep part and basically pulls them under. So that's what's called a rift. A rift is like something that we get taught about in New Zealand and Australia in elementary school because it's like one of the it's like they have you have lifeguards, you have flags on a beach, and then you have like they warn you not to swim in that area because it's a calm area between waves, but it's calm because it basically is a current that pulls the athletes out into the deeper ocean.
Okay, so I've heard that one, coach.
Yeah,
So first, for example, if you will go and swim at the beach, okay, you need to first secure the area. Okay, if it
yeah,
is we can swim it, we can swim safely or not.
yeah,
Okay, so of course we will just go to a resort. Okay,
yeah,
much
yeah,
better. Okay,
yeah,
we are not here in the province. We have lots of beaches.
yeah,
Okay, and of course beaches that are safe to swim. Okay,
yeah,
so there you go. And for swimming pool, okay, for if this pandemic will be it will be gone soon, hopefully. Okay, we will insert the pool training. Okay, specifically if we have a week uh, straight program, okay, we will just insert it on Saturday. Much
yeah.
better. And Sunday is a rest day. That's better. Oh, but Sunday, I think we will rest physically, but mentally we will still continue. We don't need to
Um,
stop.
for me, it really depended on the event. Sometimes for Sunday, I let the athlete, like I let them do a light jog on a Sunday, but It depends, like on the, um, on the event. For middle distance, I usually let them do a light jog. If it's sprints, I just usually let them rest on a Sunday. It really depended on the event,
Yep.
but yeah, like I mean, there's no harm in resting on a Sunday and then having the rest of the week to train because, like, 6 days of training a week is more than enough for any athlete in particular. For a high school or elementary kid, that's probably quite a lot of training already. So it's good to have a rest on a on a Saturday, Sunday. Um, yeah, I was just getting a lot of questions today from athletes. Um, One was obviously about medicine balls, and I basically was explaining to her what the purpose of medicine balls were in the circuits. I basically said, because I learned from Coach Tahil that medicine balls cost about $50 if you want to go out and buy one from Toby Sports, so they're not cheap. So what he did was he just gets balls, he fills them up with water, and he weighs them, and like he buys them for about 100 pesos or 50 pesos each, fills them up with water, weighs them, and that's what he does. I suspect you probably do something similar because you're from the same place pretty much as the hill.
Okay, so for medicine ball, no need to buy an expensive one. You need
Yeah,
to improvise, right? So
yeah,
for me, um, I just go to small shops here
yeah,
in the province, and then I will try to find the cheapest small ball I could
yeah,
find. Okay, and then I will just I will buy it, and then afterwards I will just put some sand inside. Okay,
yeah,
improvise. No need to buy because we
yeah.
know that
Yeah.
medicine ball it's too expensive. Okay,
That's what like
so that
Cahill did, but we used water instead of sand. But the problem is, like after maybe after a month or two, the ball just burst and the water went everywhere. But that was fine because I mean, 50 pesos, 100 pesos. It's not much. It's not much to replace. It's very cheap to replace that after a couple of months. So we just buy another one after a few months.
okay, all right, okay. Water inside the ball.
Water, water.
Water.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then we just weigh it, and then that's basically that's what we're using as our medicine ball. But sand's probably better because it doesn't sort of like make as much of a mess. The other thing that I was asked today, was about warm up. Like, so some guy asked me from FBU, he asked me about warm ups, and I said, when you warm up, he's basically saying you need to stay as relaxed. He's saying, I learned that I need to stay as relaxed as possible during the warm up, and I said, yeah, that's true. When you do drills, you should be as relaxed as possible during training. So when you're in competition and you go into autopilot and sprints, your body is just as relaxed, like just relaxed as possible, so you can execute the movements well without being tense. So I said to him, you should warm up in a tracksuit. The reason why you warm up in a tracksuit, the Philippines, people are saying, why do we warm up in a tracksuit in the Philippines? Because it's almost 40 degrees centigrade here. It's bloody hot. So I'm saying that the purpose of a tracksuit, it's not just you wear it in a cold climate to get you warm. A tracksuit, or a good tracksuit, is designed to help circulate the right amount of heat around the body. It's not to it's not that you put on a tracksuit and you're going to get overheated because you put it on because it's 40 degrees or 35 degrees in the Philippines. The point of wearing the tracksuit is so the right amount of heat is being distributed around your body when you warm up, which when you're warm, like for example, let's say for example, if it's 40 degrees in the Philippines and you're warming up and you're using cycling shorts, for example, maybe parts of your body are warm, but parts of your body are going to be getting cold. So that's why the point of the tracksuit is to ensure that all your body is warm, and it's being circulated so you can relax better. Because if you have parts of your body getting warm and parts of your body that are not so warm, then you're going to get tight when you warm up. So that's why I said that it's important to wear a tracksuit when you warm up, because this was in a lot of sprint books as well, saying that the tracksuit helps distribute the right amount of heat to all the parts of the body, so you're can be more relaxed during your warm up.
Yep. Okay. So especially when you are doing your warm ups before doing some exercises. Okay.
Yeah,
So
especially
you
when
need
you're doing
to
the drills.
you need to warm up. I
Yeah.
agree. I do agree, coach, because if you will not do a proper warm up, maybe as you've said earlier, some muscles, okay, some
Yeah.
muscles are not in heat, okay. So you need to um, equally warm up them, okay, by using this
Yeah.
tracksuit.
And then you take the tracksuit off when you're done your warm up. I mean, you can take it off, take the tracksuit off. When you're sprinting, you can't sprint at 90% or more with a tracksuit on. So you take your tracksuit off when you're doing your sprints, and then let's say for example, if you're running and you've got long rests between your sprints, and you can put the tracksuit back on. You can put the tracksuit pants back on when you're resting to sort of help relax the muscles. So that's the purpose of that tracksuit is to help keep you relaxed.
Okay.
We also had questions today about the power cleans. So I was just explaining to an athlete about how to develop their power cleans. They get to a point where they have supplementary exercises like the high pull movement, the deadlift, the squat, the back squat, the front squat, and the hang clean movement as well. So I basically was explaining to the athlete that my suggestion is in weight, like for example power cleans, you want to be doing about 3 to 5 repetitions in about maybe 4 or 5 sets. The reason why you have 4 or 5 sets is because usually 1 or 2 of the sets are usually like a warm-up at a lighter weight, just to get the body used to that movement. So, for example, you might start with, I don't know, if you're a beginner, you probably start with the bar. Then you might go to 40 or 50 kilos. Then you go up to 70. And as you go up, you lessen the number of repetitions, but you also, as you increase weight, the way to help the body adapt to the new weight is to increased by smaller increments. So, like say for example, you might go 0 to 50, that's a 50 kilo increase. Then from 50, you might go to 70, which is a 20 kilo increase. And from 70, you might go to 80, which is a 10 kilo increase. And from 80, you might go to 85. So as you increase the amount you're lifting in a what you would call like a similar to a pyramid sort of set, you increase by smaller amounts each time, and you lessen the number of repetitions to make it easier for the body, because the body's obviously getting tired the more reps you're doing. So you need to basically help the body adapt to the new like weight by like making it manageable for the body to do. So I basically was explaining to him. I told him he's been sending me videos of his cleans. I said you get to a certain point where, you get to a certain point with the power cleans, because speed is very important in power cleans as well. If like say for example, when you're doing a power clean and you're doing the pull movement, you need to be able to almost jump, or like you need to be able to move your feet like placement quickly as well when you do a power clean. So I said that you get to a certain weight where it's very difficult to move your feet. So I said what you need to do is, like, once you get to a certain weight and you get stuck, you actually have to go back to a lighter weight with more repetitions and try and move the weight faster. So your body will adapt when you go back to the heavier weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's for gym workouts.
yeah, because
So
the power clean is one of the most important weights in the gym for a sprinter, because it basically involves extension of the hips, like what you call like the triple extension, where you extend through the hips, and it activates all the muscles you use in sprints. It activates the glutes, it activates the quadriceps, it activates the hamstrings, it activates the hip flexors. So all the muscles that are used in the sprints are active in the power cleans. That's why the power cleans is one of the best exercises, if not the best exercise for a sprinter, because it really activates all the muscles that you use in sprints, but obviously not in the same movement pattern as you would use in the sprint, as you'd use when you're actually sprinting. But it activates all the muscles that are used in the sprints.
yep, I do agree, coach.
And even with younger athletes, I get them to do power cleans, but not with heavy weights. And the important thing with weights, especially with younger athletes, I'm not talking elementary, I'm talking maybe early high school, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, if they're doing cleans and they're doing weights, there's a few things that need to be like established. The first thing is there should always be an adult supervising them. The second thing is it should be a safe environment. So say, for example, when I'm getting someone to do a power clean, I have a bench behind them. So if they struggle with the lift, they'll end up sitting on the bench. So they don't end up, like the bench is there to catch them if they come down into a squat position, and then they can't lift the weight back up. The bench is there as a safety mechanism. So imagine if you do a squat and there's no safety barrier or mechanism there, you're going to end up like pushing yourself into the ground, which will lead to an injury. That's why when I get them to do a clean, I have a bench behind them. So if they can't, if it's too difficult and the bench is behind them, the bench is there for safety. So that's the second thing, is safety. The third thing is, and that's why it's very important that an adult supervising them, is that the amount of weight that they are lifting does not compromise their form. So obviously, there's a lot of talk, but I've read books which they otherwise, there's a lot of talk that says that strength train, the common, common stereotype that a lot of coaches have, or a lot of people have, is, kids shouldn't be doing any strength training because it's bad for them. They shouldn't be lifting, it's bad for them. That's not entirely true, because the program should be controlled in the sense that when you're coaching a young athlete, like a adolescent, in lifting weights, that the technique and the form should be not compromised by the amount of weight that's being lifted. So what I'm saying is, of course, how when people say, young kids or young athletes should not be lifting heavy weight because they're still growing. That, in a sense, is kind of true. But the reality is that, nobody really should be lifting really heavy weight if they're not applying good form when they lift, because that can lead to injuries. Like, say, for example, I don't know, if you're squatting 140 kilos, but because the weight is, but you're squatting 140 kilos, but your knees are coming in front of your feet, then obviously you're putting yourself at high risk of injury. So you should honestly be going back to a lighter weight and working on your form than doing a weight where you're moving the weight really, really, really slow and you're not doing it with good form. Then, especially more so with kids. Like, I mean, for example, power cleans. When they were doing power cleans, they may be doing half their body weight. So let's say, for example, if the athlete weighed 45 kilos, they might be doing a 20 kilo power clean. So that's like exactly,
half
about
of
half the
their
weight. Yeah,
weights.
but with somebody who's, for example, already, like, say, let's say at least 17, probably 18 or 16 at least, but like more likely 17 or 18, who's already done growing, they can do, as long as they've already got good technique, they can do like at least their body weight or double their body weight in the power, or not double, but maybe 1.5, like their own weight to about 1.5 times their weight in the power cleans by that stage, because it's, they already would have had a lot of time to learn technique. But like, it's okay. I think with younger athletes, if they learn technique in power cleans, it's okay, because like, you're not obviously using heavy weight when you're teaching, as long as they're being taught the correct steps and the movements.
Okay. So I think this power cleanse we will just insert this one in our weights program, because as of now,
Yeah.
my athletes, they are still new. Okay, some of
Yeah.
them less than 3 months, but not more than 1 year. So I need to give specific program for them. I don't want to give them one time. Okay, I just want gradually
Yeah.
do it step by step. Okay, power cleans.
Yeah.
Maybe we will
You can't
include
really
this one.
bring in that exercise until they can squat properly. Once athletes can do squats properly and deadlifts properly, then you can bring in cleans, because like the power clean movement involves like a deadlift movement, a pull movement, and then a squat movement. Well, it's basically a deadlift, pull, catch, squat movement. So it's like it's got like about 4 different movements in it. So it's like a complete body exercise.
Okay, so okay, so I will take note of that, Coach Enzo.
Yeah.
This power cleans. Okay, so for time being, I'm just giving them the right and proper workouts according to their capacity. Okay, I don't want to give extreme and hard that they won't be able to make it to complete their training program. Okay, because this is our first time here in Zamboanga, Sibugay to do it to connect all the coaches and all the athletes as much as possible, and to have one common goal, okay, to excel in the field of track and field athletics. Okay, so this is new. That's why, Coach Enzo, I'm really trying my best to ask uh, help, knowledge that we can get and we can um, spread here in my province, Zamboanga, Sibugay. Okay, this is the first time. Okay,
One
hoping
thing that,
that soon enough we will be able to compete in higher meets. But as of now, we are in low profile. We are just doing our best. It is just like a dance. You don't be a good dancer in one day. We need to practice it slowly, little by little. Okay, so just like that. Okay, we just need to get the rhythm. Okay, in order for us to get what we want. Okay, just like what we are doing in Zamboanga City.
yeah,
Okay, so in Zamboanga City, we've way back 2003. Okay, we've just um, get what we wanted. Okay, in the Philippine National Open. Okay, because we do it gradually. Okay,
yeah,
so here our young athletes, um, all I can say, they have discipline. All they need is someone who will teach them. I'm lucky, Coach Enzo, and some of the national coaches. They are helping. I am asking too, a little help, a little knowledge that we can, because we have same goal. Okay, to be able to excel. Okay, if one athlete will get better in this field, of course, he or she will represent one country.
yeah,
That's the Philippines. Okay, one common goal. I keep on telling my athletes, okay, um, I will do my best. I will give you time. I will study your program. Okay, we will just do it. If we don't make it, we will just ask for help to rectify whatever might the lapses that we have in our program. And I have only one goal for you, okay, for the athletes, is to be able to get what they want and be able to excel in their chosen field of sports. So I think that's my main goal. And of course, okay, as much as possible, be able to help them also in their studies. Okay, so student athlete. We cannot do all um, the workouts without studying, because they need to study in order for them to be able to do their task as an athlete. Anyways, Coach Enzo, you have so many brilliant ideas, and I'm little by little, I'm getting it. Okay.
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Okay, for giving us time. Okay. Also, when I ask something, okay, with regards with the program, okay, you don't hesitate to give your um, expertise, okay, skills, techniques. Okay.
Thanks. I'm just, yeah, like, I was just I got a question from one athlete today, regarding one athlete I coached from 12-2 to 10-9 in the boys. He basically asked me, like, how I got one athlete from 12-2 to 10-9. Said, with the guy who came to, I wrote an article on this because, like, my point was that, like, my point was, the article was basically titled, "Can anybody, like, how difficult is it to get an athlete to 10-9 from a beginner?" So I wrote about the experience. So the guy started off at 12-2, came to me, came through our trials because we went out looking for athletes, came to our trials, ran 12-2, can't even run properly, like arms all over the place, like a mess. like legs keeps landing behind his hips. So as you said, you have to work on things little by little. So first step is basically to get him, like he doesn't even know how to, he didn't even feel comfortable wearing spikes at first. So first thing is getting him like used to running in spikes, then having to teach him, how to like swing his arm properly, and then having to teach him how to do the drills in a sequence. Like I spend the first 3 or 4 months trying to teach athletes drills. Like an issue with the athletes is some of them, they think that after, like doing drills for a couple of weeks, they get a bit bored of drills. They think, oh no, we already done all this, we already know all this. But like the thing is that, like there's lots and lots and lots of drills in the sequence. So they have to like really, it's not just about, you do drills and then that's it. You need to be consistently doing the drills all the time, so you don't forget how to do them. They need, basically, if you don't use it, you lose it when it comes to the drills. So you've got to keep doing the drills, because the drills are the most important part of the training. The drills are even more important than the actual workout itself, because you could probably get away with, doing a warm up, 20 minutes of 30 minutes of drills and 10 minutes of just strides, and you'd still improve. You'd still get faster as a sprinter if you really focus and concentrate when you do the drills for 30 minutes, and then you only do some some striding. You're still going to get faster, because it's about not it's about how you move. It really is about how effectively you move. It's not about like how fit you are. Like in sprint, like endurance and fitness really plays a very little role. What's more important is how efficient you are when you move. That's the most important thing. And of course the power and the strength and all that. But the endurance is a very, it's not very, it basically, like lots of sprinters cannot run 3 kilometers. There's a lot of very good, fast, powerful sprinters that cannot even finish a 3 kilometer run or even a 2 kilometer run, because the endurance is not that important for the sprints. The important is the movement, and then obviously some of that power stuff, like standing long jumps and plyometrics. That's important. Those the drills and the plyometrics are important, and like learning how to do the block starts. But the endurance is like almost, for me, it's almost not even a requirement. It's more the speed and the power stuff for the sprints. And so like with him, teaching how to run properly, the next problem is once you teach the basics, he starts getting calf problems because he keeps landing behind his hips. So because he lands behind his hips, he's putting too much overstretch into his calves when he runs, because his calves are like dragging behind him when he runs. So in order to fix that, I had to do mini hurdles. I had to do corrective drills, and the corrective drills involved running up and down steps, because running up the steps teaches him to land under his hip. Because if he's running single steps up the steps, he can't like land behind his hips, otherwise he'll fall down the stairs. Same with running down the stairs, but running down the stairs is done slow because it's dangerous. So it's done very slow. It's done very slowly running down the stairs. He can't not land under his hips, otherwise he'll fall over. So that was a corrective thing that I did. So even with some kids, another thing that was, like some of the coaches said was a bit dodgy, but I did it anyway with starts. I used to have like a broomstick, and I basically had some kids holding broomsticks, one broomstick, one broomstick, one broomstick. So when they're doing their starts, they have to stay low because the broomstick's there. So they have to run, and then they're running underneath the broomstick, and then there's a broomstick here, which is a little bit higher. So they have to run so they don't hit the broomsticks. So that's what I used to have as well in place to get them into the right body positions when they're running, when they're doing, these are corrective drills. So the set of corrective drills are to basically, as you said, you look at each athlete individually as if you're doing a scientific investigation into, into what they need to improve as an individual athlete. So like every athlete has a different individual need or something different they need to work on. And when you come into programming your program, you look at like when you're taking notes, you're basically like, this athlete needs to work on this, this, and this, and this, and this is how I need to adapt into the training program. So, for example, with Christian, he needed to like land under his hips. So what we had to do was we had to bring in steps exercises, and that may be different to another athlete who needed to work on staying low in their start. So we needed to bring in the broom exercises, or there was an athlete who didn't know how to, who kept running wide on the curve. So what I had to do was I had to get cones and put them, because when you run a 200 meters or you run on a curve, your goal is to gradually move in a diagonal line towards the curve. You shouldn't go straight to the inside as soon as you come out of the blocks. You want to hit the inside of the lane at about 20 meters out of coming out of the blocks. So what I did was I arranged the cones so the athlete would learn to gradually come into the inside of the lane, because the athlete kept on, like, with their body position, they kept on running, so the gravity was forcing them on the outside of the lane. So I had to teach them how to position their body and using the cones to, like as a guide as well, how to position their body, for the 200. So obviously in the 200, when you're running a 200, as you know, you have to sort of lean a little bit to the, like, in the curve, and then this
Bend
arm
the curve.
coming straight, this arm's
Yes.
coming across the body. So I had to teach you how to do that, and I had to put cones there as well, because this athlete I'm coaching is about 10 or 11. So I'm not sure, McParley, right? Or not?
Magpali.
You know McParley, yeah. When I was teaching
Yes.
McParley how to run the curve, I had to put cones, because McParley keeps on running on the outside of the curve because of the gravity. So I have to put cones in the middle of the lane, so she will learn not to go on the outside, because when she was 10, 11, when she was about 10, 11, she's moving on the outside. So I spent, once a week, I spent 30 minutes teaching her how to run the curve, like, once a week. So that's, like every athlete has something different to work on.
Wow. Okay, so that's nice, Coach Enzo. Scientifically done. Okay, so the movements, okay. Especially, it's really difficult to run uh, on curves. It's really
Yeah,
difficult, especially 200-meter sprint. It's really hard. Okay, you need to bend a little, and then
yeah.
your arms here
You
and the
repeat
other
back
one.
to, I'll just go through them. The first one is when you run the 200 meters, right? Let's say, for example, you've got the lane. You don't want to go straight.
Yes.
You don't want to go straight to the. You don't want to go straight to the lane. You want to go. You want to go in a diagonal line, so you're gradually. Yeah. Um. No, maybe not that angle. Like, maybe no, maybe not so much. You don't want to go that angle. You want to go. So you're starting there. You want to go, like, you want to hit the lane, but further. You want to hit the inside of the lane a bit further than that. So
Like
it has to be
here.
a different. Yeah, no, not that angle. Like, um, hang on. No. I'll see. I think I'll grab a piece of paper here.
Okay,
What
much
would you
better.
say? Let's say, for example, this is the lane. You want to. So this is your start. You want to be more like this. A bit more gradual. It's a bit harder to. Uh, so it's on the. It might be a bit hard to see.
Okay. All right.
It's a bit hard. I have to get like a black vivid or something.
Okay, it's really hard to
In
see.
your example, you want to hit the lane. You want to hit the lane a bit later than in your example, because in your example you're hitting the lane at around the 10 meter mark. You want to hit the lane at about the 20 to 25 meter mark. So the angle needs to be like a little less sharp, in terms of where you're going, because the thing is you need to be you're accelerated. You can only really accelerate in a straight line. So by the time you hit the inside of the lane, you want to be up to full speed at that point. But you can't hit the inside of the lane at 10 meters, because at 10 meters you're not yet at full speed. You want to hit the inside of the lane at about 25 meters, because you're at full speed at about 25. So you want to hit the inside of the lane around 25 to 30. So that's the other thing. The other thing is, apart from leaning, the other thing, like when you're running around the curve and obviously you're crossing over and this arm's coming straight, the other thing that I taught that is when you get to the part, like in order to get a good slingshot off the curve, so slingshot is basically being thrown off the curve. In order to get a better slingshot when you come off the curve, what I found is when you get to the part where you hit where the curve hits the straight, you want to lean forward a little bit as well. So basically, if you have a little bit of a forward lean coming off the curve into the straight, it basically gives you um, a more powerful slingshot. Because if you just stay upright, you don't get as much push coming off the curve. But if you lean forward a little bit as you're coming off the curve, then it gives you more of a push.
Oh,
So
coach, I have a question here.
Yep.
What about the pumping of both hands?
What do you mean?
Pump. How is it done? How's it being executed?
When you're on the curve, like the inside, let's say for on the inside, this arm is going straight pretty much, and this arm is coming across. So it's more.
What about pumps?
What do you mean by pumps?
Like this? Is it like this or open palm?
The palms. I would recommend with the palms, you can do open or closed. It doesn't matter. What is more important is that you're not tightening. So, like with open and closed, there's the danger of tightening up, because if you're open, if it's like that, it's not so good. With that, that's also very tight. I think like you can run like that, you can run like that with the thing. You can run like this, or you can run like this. But one thing that an athlete can do to stop themselves from tightening up is to wiggle fingers. Like if they feel like they're tightening up, if they start wiggling the fingers, that starts loosening up the hands. So either open or closed, there's not, whatever the athlete's comfortable with is fine. It doesn't make too much of a difference as long as they're not tightening the wrists. Because if they tighten the wrists, everything gets tight. And if they are tightening the wrists, they can think wiggle fingers in order to help them relax the hands.
Okay, so I learned something here. Okay, so hoping Coach Enzo that we will be having another chat regarding 100 sprint and 200. Okay, and also we could also include the 400 sprint. Okay, as much as possible, especially the techniques on how to properly execute, because we need to learn more in order for us to get a good standing here in Zamboanga, Sibugay. So, Coach, thank you for your time, Coach.
Yep.
As always, I've learned something tonight, and especially the power cleans. Okay,
Yep.
noted, and I will insert that one maybe early next year. So when things will,
Yeah, your athletes need to be at a certain level before you start bringing that in. Once they get competent at, if they can do deadlifts and squats, then you can bring that. Eventually, you can bring that in as well. But like, yeah, just use a light weight because it's more about just getting the movement, quick, getting the movement
oh,
quick and active, rather than like you don't want to put on too much weight, especially with younger athletes for that sort of
it's really
like.
hard to study their respective workouts because I'm handling not only sprinters but as well throwers and jumpers. It's really hard to combine all
Yeah,
and
I
at
mean,
one time.
I don't actually coach throws at all. Like, I mean, I started off with just, I started off with sprints, but then I had an athlete who wanted to run 800s. So then I had to had to start learning how to coach 800 as well. And then obviously some of the sprinters wanted to jump or do hurdles as well. But I never had, a sprinter who wanted to throw. So that's why I never like needed to learn throws. So I just, like throws, I got no idea about throws. And I would say that after sprints, I'm not really that good at coaching hurdles as well. So like after sprints, I probably coach middle distance and then probably long jump and then maybe long distance. So that those in those order.
Okay, so no problem. Anyways, let's just have another conversation, another session
Yep.
regarding the sprints. I just really want to know more about 100, 200, and 400 sprints. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Coach, I think let's call it a day.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you so much, Coach Enzo. Have a
Right
good
on.
one.
Yep. Okay, so I'll just finish off the session with the PowerPoint, and then we'll wrap up there. I'll just open the PowerPoint. Obviously, it's been reported that there's been some connection issues. Obviously, slow internet in the Philippines, which isn't really that surprising. I'll just now quickly share this PowerPoint presentation and we'll wrap it up. Okay. All right. So wrapping up Pinoy Track Talk, as said, we now have 10,000 members in our athletic group, which is a milestone for us. I'm just checking. Yeah, so as we discussed before, the UAP men is 5,000 versus the high school girls record. So the high school girls record of the United States is 15:37.12. I believe honestly we have more guys running in the 40 minutes range. What you guys think needs to be done? Well, Talking Chinoy discussed the importance of supplements. That was brought up by one athlete. In comparison, if we look at the last five UAAPs, the winning time for the men, none of them have been quicker than the time of Catlin from the US of 15:37. In fact, two of them were over 16 minutes. We look at, as asked, like we were asked as well to do a comparison of the NCAA. So with the NCAA, three of the five last times were quicker than the women's high school time from 14, 16, and 18. Okay, and then continuing, we did a comparison of the men's 100 meters last session. So now we're looking at the 5,000 meter men's. So this is the average based on last 5 years. So the scores are as below. we have a full listing on our website. So we ranked the schools from most improved to least improved, and for the last 5 years for the men's 5,000, this is what we came up with. Other events are available on our website for a full breakdown of rankings of schools per events for improvements of athletes. So all the data has been put up on Pinoy Athletics. And now moving to the 5,000 meters, from the 5,000 meters to the world sprint events. Jamaican women top 2 times in the world 100 meters at the Velocity Fest meet in Kingston. Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price 10:87, Elaine Thompson-Hera 10:88 and 22:19. Trophy Brommel ran 9:87 in Montverde, Florida to finish ahead of Justin Gatlin. Brommel is the 2015 world bronze medalist. And Sha'Carri Richardson at the same meet ran 10:83 with a plus 2.1 tail, elite JIT 10:95, and the second fastest 200 in the world of 22 flat. And yeah, that's all we have time for tonight. Thank you for joining. Thanks everybody for joining us on Pinoy Athletics Track Talk. Good night and God bless.